Alright, what's going on, everybody? We are live for Penn State and Oregon. Should be a great game. A top 10 matchup with, I believe, number 3 and number 6. Which should be a great game between Penn State and Oregon. But welcome to the stream, everybody. Let me pull up the chat. The game's set to kick off in a few minutes. The whiteout game for Penn State. Let me put out a poll while we wait for them to start. Alright, there's the poll, Oregon or Penn State. Be sure to vote. I've got Oregon 30-26. But this game can definitely go either way. But Oregon going to get the ball first. It's a rematch of the Big Ten championship game from last season. And Penn State set to kick it away. And off we go. Oregon gets the ball first. The kick is going to be a touchback and come out at the 25. Like a touchback should be, unlike the NFL. But quarterback Dante Moore in the Oregon offense onto the field. Played really well so far this season. But they get a very tough test against a good Penn State defense and also in a very tough environment. But both these teams undefeated. Oregon 4-0, Penn State is 3-0. So Oregon starts on their own 25. Dante Moore in the pistol. And I'll turn around the handoff to Noah Winnington. He's tripped up after a gain of 6. A good first down run. But Dante Moore for Oregon is fourth in the country with a 74.7% completion percentage. He's also got 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. But he has played really well to start the season. 2nd and 4 for Oregon. Empty backfield for Dante Moore. And Moore looks to throw. Throwing outside. That is caught by Winnington for a gain of 3. And a little short of a first down. Brings up 3rd and 1. So it's a 3rd and short here for Oregon. Moore's going to come under center. Multiple running backs in the game. On their own 34-yard line. And Moore hands off to the guy they want up at fullback. And a first down for Oregon, a gain of 2. I don't know who that is. Let me pull up the Oregon roster real quick, because I don't know this team that well. Alright, let's see. Give me 1 second while I find their roster. Right there, that was... oh, now they put it up on screen. Jordan Davison. He was 9 for 9 on short yardage situations when they handed the ball. So from the 36-yard line, Moore off play action, throws to the flat that is caught by the tight end, and he's going to hurdle a guy and get taken down for a gain of 6. Nice play there for Oregon. That is 18... Kenyon Sadiq. So ball on their own 42, make it 2nd and 4. Moore with the back to his left. And here's a handoff to Jaden Lamar. And he'll gain about 2. Give me 1 second. . Alright, so it's a third down here for Oregon. It's a 3rd and 1. Their second, third, and short of this opening drive. They're on their own 45-yard line. And Moore going to hand off to Winnington up the middle. I don't think he got there. Did not get much. And it looks like it's going to be 4th down here for Oregon. It's going to be 4th and about half a yard. Oregon going to keep the offense out there and go for it. Since 2022, they've gone for it 83 times, with the 7th best team in the country on 4th down under Dan Lanning. This is a 4th and inches. Dante Moore goes under center. And that should have been a false start. Instead, they're going to toss it to the left and have a 1st down with Davison. But there's a flag down. This one should come back. So they will call the false start. It was against the guy lined up on the far right of the line of scrimmage, one of the tight ends there for Oregon. But after the penalty, they'll now be forced to punt it away. So the Penn State defense forces a punt. And let's see what the Penn State offense can do for their first possession. So the punt is away, and this punt going to be fielded from the 17-yard line and taken down right there. Actually, still on his feet. I thought he went down already, though. But great kick coverage there by Oregon, and Penn State takes over at but their own 17-yard line with 10:52 to go in the first quarter. Just looking at some scores from around the country. Alabama and Georgia still scoreless. That's going to be another one to keep an eye on. I'll definitely go over the score of that game pretty frequently. That one's still scoreless, and Tennessee and Mississippi State are headed to overtime, tied at 34. That's another one to keep an eye on. We had some pretty close games. We had Illinois beat USC. I mean, Georgia Tech needed overtime to beat Wake Forest. They won by a point. Texas A&M beat Auburn by 6. Indiana beat Iowa by 5. It's been a lot of close games, and hopefully that continues. But we wait for them to come back from commercial as Penn State gets the ball for their first possession. The Oregon offense with 20 yards on their first drive before they have to punt it away. And we'll see what Drew Auer and the Penn State offense can do for their first possession. Hold on 1 second. Alright, now they're back from commercial. Game still scoreless with over 10 minutes to go. But Drew Auer and the Penn State offense on the field, Auer has not been good. Just 626 yards and 4 touchdowns in 3 games against not very good competition. I'm not a big Drew Auer fan. I think he's not very good. And I think he's probably one of the most overrated players in the country. So at 1st and 10 here from the 15 for Penn State. Our hands off to the guy on the jet sweep. And still on his feet. Gonna gain about 3. Again, let me pull up the roster for Penn State. That is Pena with the carry right there. The transfer from Syracuse. Brings up 2nd down and about 7. So our in shotgun, Katron Allen is lined up to his left. And it's actually a direct snap to Katron Allen. And he's not going to do much with it, getting just a yard. Be sure to vote in the poll if you guys have not already done so. So far, everyone said Oregon. I would agree. So here is a 3rd and 5. Our with the back to his left from their own 20-yard line. Our going to look to throw for the first time over the middle. That's knocked down at the line and incomplete. So Penn State's offense going to punt it back to Oregon. They go quick 3 and out on their first drive. Our is trying to find one of the tight ends on a slam. They got knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and Oregon's defense forced a quick 3 and out. So Oregon gets the ball back. The punt is fielded at the 25. On the return, they've got some space, and he's dragged down from behind at the 32. 9 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. But both these teams get off to good starts defensively, and let's see what Oregon can do for their second possession. But Dante Moore, for Oregon, has had a pretty interesting journey. Was committed to Oregon and then flipped to USC. Started 5 games for, UCLA as a true freshman. Now he's at Oregon. Moore takes a shot down the sideline right here. That is caught, but he's out of bounds. Yeah, Dante Moore committed to Oregon. Or I think he committed to UCLA, flipped to Oregon, and then flipped back to UCLA. Something like that. Then he was with UCLA when he was a freshman. And then transferred to Oregon before last year, was the backup, and now he's the starter here at Oregon, and he looks really good. So 9:06 to go in the first quarter, 2nd and 10 here for Oregon. Moore hands off to Noah Winnington, and he's going to break a tackle, and break another, and Winnington picks up about 6. Nice running there. And it brings up 3rd and 4. So 3rd and 4 here for Oregon. 8:30 to go in the first quarter. Moore in shotgun, Winnington to his left. From their own 38-yard line. Moore hands off, Winnington up the middle, and he's short. Interesting play call there on 3rd and 4. But Winnington got 3, and it brings up 4th and 1 for Oregon. Hey, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Again, Oregon going to keep the offense out there. They false started before, and then were forced to punt because of it. I'm doing great. Had a very exciting day. Actually went to the Yankee game earlier. Penn State able to get an extra guy off the field. Oregon can't catch him. It's a quarterback run for Dante Moore. He cuts up field. He's got a first down. Yeah, it was nice. They won 6-1. And now I'm watching some college football because it's a lot of good games. Notre Dame won big. Yeah, I saw that. Well, without seeing the game. But I saw they won big. I'm going to go back and watch the highlights later. But a 1st and 10 here from their own 43. Moore under center. Off play action. Moore pressured. That might have been a hold. Moore rolls right and just throws it incomplete. Yeah, Notre Dame, they won 56-13. And that was definitely a big win for them. That defense actually looked pretty good against a good offense, too. So I'm feeling a lot better about them than I was going into this week. So 2nd and 10, empty backfield for Dante Moore. Quick throw that is tipped up in the air and still caught. The receiver initially had it bounce off his hands, and that was nearly intercepted, but then it got caught. That could have been a disaster considering it bounced right into the defender's hands, but Oregon able to get it back. So 3rd and 2 after the completion. Moore in shotgun back to his left. Dante Moore, pressure, going to take off and run. And Dante Moore's going to have a first down slide at the 45-yard line, going to inside Penn State territory. And a first down for Oregon. So a 1st and 10 from the 45. Moore in shotgun with the back to his left. 5:28 to go in the 1st quarter. And Moore, that's a swing pass to the tight end Sadiq. And he's going nowhere, taking down at the line of scrimmage. Who do I have in this game? I got Oregon. I got them 30-26. How about you? So Oregon shifts to an empty set here from the 45. Moore sets up the screen to the outside, and not much blocking, gain of just about 4. And it brings up 3rd and 6 for Oregon. I don't know, honestly, such a tight one to call. Oregon 24-21, I think. Yeah, it's definitely a tough one to call, but I just trust Oregon more in big games, so that's why I'm going with them. But yeah, it was tough to predict. For sure. So 3rd and 6. Moore in shotgun. And he's going to hand it off to Hill. And Hill is going to fight his way, get about half what they need. Make it 4th and 3. And another decision here for Dan Lanning. Again, the offense is going to stay on the field, and I feel like this is really your only choice right here. Not a field goal, not a punt. From the Penn State 38-yard line, Oregon is 5 of 7 on 4th down this season. Moore in shotgun, Whittington to his left. Dante Moore looks to throw, steps to his right, and Moore is going to spin. Oh, he's short. He tried to run for it. Moore did not get there, and Penn State's defense gets the turnover on downs. Not a terrible idea to run it right there. Moore taken down short. And Penn State's defense with the turnover on downs and they get the ball back. With about 3:20 to go in the first quarter. Definitely a better drive there for Oregon, but Penn State's defense still able to get a stop. Alabama, Georgia still scoreless. Oh, sorry, Alabama just scored. Alabama with a touchdown, they get the first points of that game. So far, results in the poll, everyone has said Oregon. I would agree. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Game still scoreless, about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. Alright, now they're back. James Franklin struggles in big games. He is 122 at Penn State against teams not in the top 10. But against top 10 teams, he is just 4-20. And this is Penn State's first whiteout top 10 game since 2018 when they lost to Ohio State. Real shocker right there. So a 1st and 10 from their own 36. Auer in the offense back on the field. Auer looks to throw. Going to try to set up the screen the other way. It's tipped and caught. But he's taken down for a huge loss. And loses about 8 yards on the play. Oregon's defense did a great job reading that. And that just never got going for Penn State. The receiver juggled the ball after the tip. Well, I mean, it didn't matter if he caught a clean. He wasn't going anywhere anyway. So 2nd and 18 after a big loss on 1st down. Here's the handoff to Nick Singleton. And he'll get 3 yards back, but it still brings up 3rd and 15. Drew Auer, in his career against top 6 teams in the AP poll, is 0-5, completing under half his passes, has thrown 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's averaging just 5.1 yards per pass attempt. But he is just not that good. I've never really been a huge Drew Auer fan. Also got an injured lineman down in the play for Penn State. Hopefully he's okay. By the way, Tennessee avoided the upset against Mississippi State. They won 41-34 in overtime. But overall, I think I've actually done a pretty good job predicting the game so far this week. The only mistake I think I have is Illinois and USC. Yeah. Although, obviously, a lot can change because you've got two games right now with Oregon, Penn State, and Alabama, Georgia that can really go either way. So, I could go from having a good week to a not great week in 2 seconds. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Obviously, hopefully the injured player is okay. Be sure to vote in the poll if you guys have not already done so. So far, everyone has said Oregon. Still waiting for them to come back. Why does it seem like this TV timeout's like 4 hours? Alright, now they're back. So Tennessee beats Mississippi State in overtime. They avoid the upset there. But now we're back. 3rd and 16 for Penn State. Auer in shotgun back to his left. Auer looks to throw, has time. Auer steps up, throws off balance underneath to Singleton. He's going to break a tackle, and Singleton gets close to a first down. Needed 16, got 15. But you could go for this if you're James Franklin. On your own 45, I doubt he does, because he's not very aggressive, but you could go for it. Wow, he is going to keep the offense out in the field. Offense stays out for Penn State. They're to run the ball with Singleton, and he's got a first down. A gain of 2, and Penn State moves the sticks on 4th down. Really did not expect to see that from Penn State. I thought they'd punt. So here is a 1st and 10 from their own 47. Auer in the pistol, back behind him, and Auer hands off to Singleton to the right side, and Nick Singleton chopped down after a gain of 4, getting into the Oregon 49-yard line. Penn State gets the line quick. Now they'll run the same play the other way. And this time Singleton dragged down for a loss. A loss of 2, and it brings up 3rd and 8. A nice play by the Oregon defense on what could be the final play of the first quarter. Let's see if Penn State decides to snap this. They got about 5 seconds. And no, they'll let it go to the second quarter. But a scoreless first quarter. Penn State with the ball on the, or it's going to be their own about 48-yard line. But a scoreless first quarter. Both defenses look good to start. Again, be sure to vote in the poll if you guys have not already done so. So far, everyone has said Oregon will win. If you guys missed my prediction for the game, I've got Oregon by a score of 30-26. One second. I'm trying to figure out the score of the other game. Alabama, Georgia still 7-0. Alabama actually has the ball back with 5 minutes to go in the first. Iowa State leads Arizona 21-0. Missouri leading UMass 14-6. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial, entering the second quarter. Some numbers from that first half. Penn State Oregon 52 yards of offense, Penn State 18. Oregon also had the ball for about 10 minutes of that first quarter, 9:58 to be exact, Penn State at 5:02. Before Penn State, 15 of their 18 total yards came on one play, on a catch and run for Nick Singleton. The rest of it has been like 2 yards forwards, 2 yards backwards. But both defenses look pretty good. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. Why does it seem like these commercial breaks are 10 years long today? Alright, now they're back from commercial. Penn State with the ball on, I think it's their own 49-yard line. Game's still scoreless. So it's a 3rd and 8. Here for Penn State, starting the second quarter. Our in shotgun, Singleton lined up to his left. Ball is on their own 49-yard line. They have to get to the Oregon 43. So Auer going to look to throw here on 3rd down. Plenty of time. Auer now gets pressured, rolls to his left. Auer throws back across the field, and it is caught for a 1st down. To the 38-yard line, Singleton makes the catch, and Penn State moves the sticks. Now they'll go to the ground with Singleton, and he'll get about 3 to the 35. And it'll bring up 2nd and 7. So 2nd and about 7 for Penn State. Katron Allen now in the backfield behind Drew Auer. Bring a receiver in motion, and Auer hands off to Allen, and Katron Allen going to gain him only 2. Brings up 3rd down, and roughly 4, maybe 5. Penn State goes quick. Auer looks to throw, plenty of time. Rolls right, now gets pressured, and Allen throws high and incomplete. So it brings up 4th and 4. And another decision here for Penn State. You could try a long field goal, but you could also go for it because it's not insanely long. But they will try a field goal. Ryan Barker is 9 of 10 this season, long of 45. This would be a season-long 49 yards. But to get the game's first points, a 49-yarder centered in the field. And Barker's kick is right down the middle. So Penn State gets the first points. They lead this one 3-0. After the lefty kicker Ryan Barker, it's a 49-yard field goal. And Penn State up by 3. So now Oregon will get the ball back. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Oregon down by 3, getting the football back for their 3rd possession. And pretty solid so far offensively. Moved the football a little bit, although I've punted once and turned it over on downs once. So far for Oregon, they have gone 6 plays, 16 yards, and 11 plays, 32 yards. Let's see what they can do for their 3rd possession. Now trailing 3-0. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. Alright, now they're back from commercial, finally. I don't know why it seems like these commercial breaks are, like, forever. I don't know if it's just me, or if you guys think that as well. But it seems like these are really long. But Oregon going to get the football back. Down 3-0, 13:26 to go in the first half. And the kick is a touchback and will come out to the 25. So Oregon with the ball for their 3rd possession on their own 25-yard line. Oh, jeez. I refreshed the page because it got stuck, and now I gotta watch a 30-second ad. The first down was a 24-yard run for De'Aaron Hill Jr. And then a 4-yard catch from Malik Benson. It brings up 2nd and 6 here for Oregon. So 2nd and 6 from the 47. Moore in shotgun, back to his left and to his right. Moore off play action, pressure, throws over the middle, that is incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 6. Oregon so far today on 3rd down. They're 2 of 5. This is a 3rd and 6. Moore in shotgun. And it's going to set the screen to the outside. And it's going to get a block, but not much. Got 3. And another decision here for Dan Lanning. I'd go for it. It's 4th and about 3. Next, they're going to spot a 4th and 2 officially. And again, the offense will stay out on the field. 4th and 2 from the Penn State 44. Moore in shotgun, back to his left. Penn State brings 4. Moore has time and has a first down. Completes it to, I believe that's Trey Benson. Or Malik Benson. Trey Benson is the running back for the Cardinals. Also former Florida State player. 1st and 10 for Oregon. Moore, lots of time to throw. And he sidearms one high and incomplete. Just trying to check down to Winnington. But he missed him. It's 2nd and 10. Oh, actually, he didn't just miss him. That got tipped up in the air. So that's why it was a bad throw. So it brings up 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Moore in shotgun, Winnington to his right. From the Penn State 36. Moore, hands off, Winnington left side. And no, Winnington going to gain about 2. Brings up 3rd and 8 with 11 minutes to go in the first half. So it's 3rd and 8 here for Oregon, down by 3. We got Moore in shotgun, Winnington to his left. 3 receivers to the right side. From the Penn State 34-yard line, Moore going to look to throw. Moore pressured, rolls to his right, on the run. Moore is going to run himself, and he'll dive ahead down to the 28-yard line. But he is short of a first down. And another decision here for Dan Lanning. Looks like this time he's going to kick it. So the field goal unit comes on for Oregon, 47 yards. Kick from the right hash to tie it at 3 with 9:45 to go in the first half. And the kick is up and no good. Missed it wide left, and Penn State stays up by 3. So it stays 3-0 Penn State with 9:36 to go in the first half. Alabama looking good, are they? They score again? Oh wow, they did. 14-0 Alabama, 12:01 to go in the first half. Ty Simpson, 2 passing touchdowns, 117 yards. I mean, we saw this last year with Alabama. They got off to a big lead against Georgia. And then Georgia came back. Last year against Georgia, Alabama was up 30-7 at the half, 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, and ended up winning 41-34. But I mean, Georgia, they have a really bad habit of getting off to slow starts. Like against Tennessee, they were up or down 21-7 in the first quarter. Now they're down 14-0. Obviously, it's second quarter now, but Georgia, they just have a really bad habit of getting off to slow starts. I didn't see much of that USC-Illinois game. I did see the field goal, but I didn't see any of the game, actually. I did see Illinois came back, though. There's the second touchdown they show for Alabama. 14-0. Alabama leads Georgia. Penn State leads Oregon 3-0. And Penn State takes over with the football here on their own 29-yard line after the missed field goal. Auer going to look to throw here. Auer steps up, and Auer is sacked. It's going to be a loss of about 3 for Penn State. Drew Auer with nowhere to go. And Oregon with the sack. First sack of the day. For either team, I believe. So it's 2nd and 12. After the sack, Auer in shotgun, Allen in the back to his left. And they're going to toss it to Katron Allen. Going to run into his own guy. And gain about 5. So here is a 3rd and 7. Oregon shows blitz here. They crowd the line of scrimmage. And it looks like there may have been an early movement. Auer gets pressured and throws high and incomplete. I thought somebody may have moved early. No, Oregon just did a great job timing up that snap. Very quick off the line. And a stop there for the Oregon defense. Fair catch signaled for here at the 25. And that is where Oregon will take over for their next possession. Still down 3-0. With 7:56 to go in the first half. But a quick 3-and-out forced by the Oregon defense. And let's see what their offense can do here. This is going to be their fourth drive. Each one has gotten progressively longer, going 16 yards, then 32 yards, then 46 yards. Let's see if that trend continues. Alright, let's see some other scores from around college football. Let's see. Oh, Georgia got on the board now 14-7. A 38-yard touchdown to Colby Young. And Georgia cuts the lead in half. 14-7, 12:48 to go in the first half there. Missouri leads UMass 21-6. Iowa State leads Arizona 22-7 at the half. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Oregon with the football on their own 25-yard line. Again, be sure to vote on the poll if you guys have not already done so. 83% of you guys said Oregon will win. 17% have said Penn State. Alright, now they're back from commercial. A 3-point Penn State lead. A defensive game so far. So, from their own 25-yard line, Moore in shotgun, Winnington to his right. Dante Moore, quick throw to the outside. That is caught by Moore. Moore throws to Moore for a gain of about 8. So second and short. And they're going to hand this off. Winnington straight ahead, has a first down, gets the 40-yard line. And a nice run there for Oregon. 2 solid pickups to open up this drive. Here's another handoff to Winnington. Oh, sorry. Moore still has this. Throws this down the field. Incomplete. Just threw it away. That completely fooled me. So it's 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Play clock at 5. Dante Moore going to hand it off to, I don't know who this is, 23. Bouncing to the outside, going to gain 2 before he's taken down. Oh, that's Hill. I've seen a few different running backs today for Oregon. Obviously, Winnington, I've seen Jaden Lamar, and also this guy, Hill. So 3rd and 8. Moore in shotgun. Going to set up the screen to the outside. Get a block. And very close to a first down. They got 7, needed 8. And another decision for Dan Lanning. I'd go for it. So again, they're going to keep the offense out there. I like the decision from Dan Lanning. Oregon 5 of 7 on fourth down this season. Dante Moore is going to come out under center. They need a full yard. Ball is on midfield. And Moore, off play action, looks to throw. All day to throw. Throws over the middle, caught for a first down. To the 30-yard line, 20 yards on fourth and short. And Oregon moves the sticks. Moore finds Moore once again for 20 yards. Everybody bites on the run fake, leaving him wide open downfield. Great play there for Oregon. So at 1st and 10 here from the Penn State 30. And they're going to hand this off up the middle to another running. How many running backs does Oregon have? This is number 0, Davison. This running back depth is insane for Oregon. How many different guys have run the football? I'll look in a second. 2nd and 4. Here's the handoff to Lamar, and he's going nowhere. Taken down at the line of scrimmage. Let's see. We've had Hill, who's number 33, right? Did I make that up? No, he's number 23. So we've got Hill, who's number 23. We've got Whittington, who's number 6. Davison, who's number 0. And Lamar, who's number 27. That's crazy. Plus, obviously, you've got Dante Moore who's run a couple times. So 3rd and 4. Moore in shotgun. Lamar to his left. Moore, plenty of time. Throws downfield that is almost intercepted. Led his receiver a little too far. And it's 4th down. Oh, the guy stopped running his route. He could have definitely had a chance to get there if he had continued to run. But it's 4th down. And now, another field goal try here for Oregon. Sappington missed his first. That was from 47. Here's one from 42 on the left hash. And Sappington's kick is good this time. And the field goal is good. The game gets tied at 3. But a good drive there for Oregon. And they're able to tie things up on a 9-play, 51-yard drive that ends in a field goal. But the trend does continue for Oregon, with each drive being a little bit longer than the previous one. Going 16 and 32, then 46 yards and 51 yards. This game now tied at 3. Alabama and Georgia is still 14-7. With 10 minutes to go in the first half, although Alabama is in the red zone. Well, actually, Alabama just recovered a fumble. So they got the ball on the Georgia 11-yard line. Big turnover there for Georgia. And the other games with top 25 teams, Missouri and UMass have stayed the same. 21-6 Missouri leads late in the first half. And Iowa State leads Arizona 22-7 at the half. And there doesn't seem to be any huge games between non-ranked teams. And South Carolina, Kentucky is interesting. South Carolina's up 21-10. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Game tied at 3. Be sure to vote in the poll if you guys have not already done so. So far, 86% of you guys have said Oregon, 14% have said Penn State. Again, be sure to vote if you haven't already. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial break. Penn State can get the football back after their defense allows the first points. Now they're back from commercial. The kick is away and will be a touchback. And come out to the 25-yard line. With about 3:42 to go in the first half. But Oregon from last year to this year lost lots of primary starters, not on offense, but they brought in a lot of key players, and they look equally as good. So a 1st and 10 from their own 20. Penn State to go Wildcat here. And Katron Allen takes the direct snap and powers ahead for maybe a yard. Hour to throw here. Sauter in front of the flat, and that's called by the tight end Dinkins for a gain of 7. 3:15 to go in the first half. So here is a 3rd and 2. Hour in shotgun from their own 33-yard line. They bring a receiver in motion, and Hour going to pull on the option, keep it, power his way ahead for a 1st down. A gain of 4. That could have been bad because Hour had a guy in the backfield able to make a miss. So 1st and 10. From the 38, Penn State doesn't have to run a play before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do. They got 13 seconds. Let's see. Doesn't look like they will. No, they won't. So we got 2 minutes left in the first half. A game still very defensive. 3-3. And Penn State with the football at the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Or as they call it in college, the 2-minute timeout. We got 2 minutes left in the first half. Penn State with the ball on their own 38. By the way, Alabama and Georgia 17-7. Alabama now leads. So Georgia was able to hold them to a field goal after the turnover. 17-7, Alabama leads there. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Wow, this game is moving a lot faster than that game. There's still half the second quarter to go there. We're almost at halftime here. But if this game ends before Alabama and Georgia, I'll probably stay on to watch the end of that game, just so you guys know. Although, obviously, I know we're still in the first half, but that would probably be the plan. Obviously, if the game's not close, then I'll just end the stream, but you would probably expect that game to be pretty close. Although a 10-point game right now. But we got 2 minutes left in the first half. Penn State with the football. And I believe both teams still have all 3 timeouts, too. So now they're back from commercial. After the 2-minute warning. Game still tied at 3. Auer sets up the screen here for Pena, and he's going to gain about 4. Stays inbounds, the clock will run. Minute 50 to go. From the 42, they're going to hand it off to Singleton, who's going down for a loss. Nick Singleton taken down for a loss of 2. It's third down. I call a timeout right here from Oregon. Minute 34 to go. I call a timeout. So Oregon does call a timeout. They're first. By the way, Penn State does have all 3 timeouts, so I was right. Each team did have all 3 remaining. But Oregon calls the timeout right there. Minute 40 to go in the first half. Last year in the Big Ten championship game, Penn State had 297 rushing yards in the Big Ten championship game. Tonight, they have not run the football effectively at all. They have just 24 yards on 13 carries. That's 1.8 yards per carry. But a huge improvement for Oregon from last year to this year. Because that is really the area they struggled last year, stopping the run. Because otherwise, they were really good. 3rd and 8 for Penn State. Oregon brings a blitz. Auer has some time, then just throws it over the middle, and it's caught for a first down. Wow, that seems like a dangerous throw for Drew Auer. But he's able to complete it. Devontae Ross with the catch, and Penn State gets the line quickly. At the Oregon 46. Minute 30 to go. And now we got a false start against Penn State, and that's going to be a 10-second runoff as well. Unless they want to call a timeout to avoid it. The center started moving without snapping the ball. But this 3rd down play for Auer is incredibly risky. I mean, he slips and just kind of throws it downfield. Completely off balance. And he's very lucky that's completed. Because that is not necessarily something you want to be doing. The false start backs Penn State up 5 yards. Auer zips one over the middle, incomplete. Wait a minute, how is there no 10-second runoff on that false start? It was a running clock inside 2 minutes. That's supposed to be a 10-second runoff. I'm not sure. But that throw should have been called for Penn State. Hit him in the shoulder and just couldn't catch it. But it's 2nd and 15, minute 25 to go. On their own 49. Auer in shotgun, Singleton to his left. Auer gonna look to throw, plenty of time. And Auer to the outside, and that's incomplete as well. It brings up 3rd and 15 with a minute 20 to go. I sound like an Oregon fan. I'm actually a fan of neither. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Although, if I had to pick who I'd like to see win, I would rather see Oregon win, because I don't like Penn State. So 3rd and 15. Auer with the back to his left. Gonna look to throw. Auer floats one downfield, incomplete. So it brings up 4th and 15. And Oregon's gonna get the ball back with a minute 14 to go and 2 timeouts. So plenty of time to try to put a drive together. Now, Penn State does get the ball to start the second half, but a big opportunity for Oregon right here. Oregon comes after the punt, gets some pressure on it, but doesn't block it, and a fair catch called at the 9-yard line. And that is where Oregon takes over. The game's still tied at 3. So Oregon can have 1:07 to go and 2 timeouts. Penn State still has all their timeouts. So 1st and 10 from the 10. Dante Moore looks to throw. It's a quick throw, caught for a gain of about 6 to the tight end Sadiq. 55 seconds left, clock running. Moore looks to throw. Checks down Whittington out of the backfield. And he's taken down inbounds, but has a first down, so the clock will temporarily stop with 47 seconds left. Now the clock going to run. Moore looks to throw here. Moore throws outside. That's caught for a first down. Moore finds Moore once again. Gaining about 13 there. Stops the clock with 37 seconds left. Wait, why do you say sorry for your loss? I just realized that. Notre Dame won today. But a 1st and 10 here from the 37. Moore off play action. Moore, plenty of time. Flag comes in, likely a hold. And Moore throws the outside, caught by Whittington. Gain of about 5. Gets out of bounds, stopping the clock with 28 seconds left. Yeah, this is a hold going against Oregon. It's against 76, who just gets run over and drags 2 defenders to the ground. So it's 1st and 15 after the penalty. 28 seconds left in the first half. Still 2 timeouts for Oregon. Ball on their own 27. Moore looks to throw. Moore throws incomplete, short of his intended receiver. And it brings up second down. Also, tight coverage right there, too. So it's 2nd and 20. Moore, quick throw, finds Moore, and he's taken down inbounds. So the clock will run. 15 seconds left. It's 3rd and 13. And let's see, is Oregon even going to run another play? Alright, we got a timeout call with 6 seconds left by Oregon. That's their second timeout here in the first half. Wonder if they might just try to throw a Hail Mary. Well, actually, they put a few more seconds back on the clock, so 9 seconds left. So there's 9 seconds on the clock, so you have time to potentially throw a pass, get into field goal range, or at least range to attempt a long field goal, or at least throw a Hail Mary. But it's 3rd and 13. You do have a timeout, so you can use the entire field. Ball is on their own 34. Moore and shotgun back to his right. Moore looks to throw. Dancing around. Finds Lamar underneath. And he's going to stay in bounds. That was not smart. Didn't even go anywhere. And then he gets forced out of bounds, but the clock continues to run. And the clock is now at zeros. I definitely don't think that's what Oregon wanted to do right there. But the game heads to halftime tied at 3. A very low-scoring first half. Both the defense is playing very well. And we head to the half, Oregon 3, Penn State 3. Now, Penn State does get the ball to start the second half. But Penn State had just 69 total yards in the first half, which is their worst in a first half since they played Wisconsin in 2021. And I mean, it really just comes down to Penn State's not running football, because their pass game isn't very good, and when they can't run the ball, they can't really do much. But Oregon's defense, they've played extremely well. But the game tied at 3. Alabama, Georgia is 17-14, by the way. 2 minutes left in the first half right there. But I'm going to go take a quick break, use the bathroom, fill up my water. I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back. Thank you guys for staying with me as I took a quick break. But we're tied at 3 at the half, a very low-scoring defensive game. And both defenses have looked good. Offenses exist. Penn State not looking too great. Oregon's offense still always moved the football, but they still haven't been amazing. Well, as far as an updated score prediction goes, I originally said 30-26. But clearly, I don't think we're gonna see a team hit 30, considering we've seen 3 points for each team in the first half. So let's go an updated score prediction. I'm gonna stick with Oregon. Their offense has looked a little bit better. Their defense has played well, and I just trust them more. So let's take Oregon, and we'll go by a score of, let's say Oregon. We'll give them another field goal, another touchdown, or a touchdown. What is that? I definitely think the offenses will wake up a little bit in the second half. But, I mean, I don't think this game's going to become a high scoring or anything. But let's go with Oregon by a score of, I don't know, let's go like 20-13. Oregon. Alabama, Georgia, 17-14, with a minute 28 to go in the first half. Alright, but yeah, Alabama up 3 at the half. Penn State, Oregon are tied. Missouri and Massachusetts, or UMass. I don't know why they wrote out Massachusetts and what I'm looking at. It's UMass. Missouri's up 21-6. And Iowa State leads Arizona 29-7. But going over some stats from the first half, we'll start off with player stats for Oregon. Dante Moore is 15 of 22 for 122 yards, 112 yards. No touchdowns or interceptions. On the ground for Oregon, they've been pretty effective running the football, but nothing amazing. As a team, they've run it 18 times for 77 yards. Hill was run it 2 times for 26 yards. Whittington 6 for 24. Dante Moore 4 for 13. Jordan Davison 2 for 8. Jaden Lamar 3 for 6. And Kenyon Sadiq has 1 carry for nothing. Then receiving for Oregon, Zachariah Moore has 5 catches for 57 yards. Sadiq has 3 catches for 17 yards. Benson 2 catches for 11 yards. Whittington 2 catches for 10 yards. Bryant 1 catch for 7. Lamar 1 for 6. And Hill was 1 catch for 4 yards. Then for Penn State, Drew Allar is 6 of 12 for 45 yards. No touchdowns or interceptions. On the ground for Penn State, they haven't been great. Nick Singleton 7 carries for 10 yards. Katron Allen 3 carries for 8 yards. Trevor Pena has 1 for 3, and Drew Allar has 2 for 3. Penn State is a team 24 yards, 1.8 yards per carry. And then receiving for Penn State, Nick Singleton 2 catches for 28 yards. Will Dinkins 1 catch for 7 yards. Devontae Ross 2 catches for 6 yards, and Trevor Pena 1 catch for 4 yards. And then going over some team stats from the first half. 9 first downs for Oregon, 4 for Penn State. Oregon is outgaining Penn State by quite a bit, 189 to 69. Through the air, Oregon's been much better, 112 compared to 45. Oregon also more effective on the ground, 77 yards compared to 24 yards. Penalties, 2 penalties, 14 yards against Oregon, 1 penalty, 5 yards against Penn State. Neither team has turned the ball over. And time possession, 19:09 for Oregon, 10:51 for Penn State. So far, results in the poll, 70% of you guys said Oregon will win, 30% have said Penn State. Be sure to vote if you guys have not already done so. But the second half should start fairly soon. We've been at halftime for about 10 minutes, so we got a little bit longer. But let's go over some scores from earlier today. Notre Dame destroyed Arkansas 56-13. Tennessee avoided the upset against Mississippi State, winning 41-34 in overtime. LSU upset Ole Miss 24-19. Texas A&M beat Auburn 16-10. Indiana beat Iowa 20-15. Ohio State beat Washington 24-6. Vanderbilt beat Utah State 55-35. Wow, giving a 35 to Utah State is kind of a lot. Georgia Tech had a big comeback against Wake Forest and ended up winning 30-20, despite being down 17 in the third quarter. And Georgia Tech wins 30-29. They've remained undefeated. Illinois beat USC 34-32. And we had 2 games last night. Arizona State upset TCU 27-24. And Virginia upset Florida State 46-38 in double overtime. But it's been a great week of college football so far. Hold on 1 second. But the second half should begin in the next few minutes. Oh, Alabama just scored again. 23-14, Alabama leads at the half. Ty Simpson with a 2-yard rushing touchdown. About to be 24-14. That's the 3rd touchdown of the first half for Ty Simpson. 2 passing, now 1 rushing. And he's also thrown for 192. And that is a big game for both those teams. Hold on 1 second. Just want to check something real quick. Alabama, Georgia is now 24-14. Extra point is good. 34 seconds left in the first half there. Alabama with almost 300 yards. They're at 262 in the first half. But the second half should begin within the next few minutes. See if there's anything else that's changed from some of the other games. Obviously, Alabama up 10. Oh, Iowa State scored again. They're now up 36-7 on Arizona. And Missouri still leads UMass 21-6. BYU Colorado, the only other game to include a ranked team today that hasn't started yet. That game starts in about 45 minutes at 10:15. I took BYU in that game. But Penn State, they do get the ball to start the second half. And that is definitely big because they need to get the offense going because their offense just not been good. 69 total yards, 45 through the air, 24 on the ground. So, Penn State needs the offense to get going. When they played Oregon in the Big Ten championship game last year, they were pretty good. They scored over 30 points, I believe. Yeah, 45-37 was the final there. And that game was... Wow. 31-24 at the half. That seems really high scoring. I mean, that is insanely high scoring for a first half. That is like the complete opposite of the first half today. Yeah, that game was 31-24 at the half. This game is 3-3. The scoring actually slowed down a little bit in that game, as Oregon outscored Penn State 14-13 in the second half. But maybe it's the exact opposite of this game. Low scoring first half, maybe the second half will be high scoring. Hopefully. Or at least a little bit more offense than a field goal for each team. But game tied at 3 at the half. Hold on one second. Just want to look something up real quick. Alabama, Georgia now at the half, by the way. 24-14, Alabama leads. The second half of this game should get started fairly soon. Feels like we've been at halftime for a while. Looking ahead to next week, we've got some interesting games. We got Texas, Florida, which could be interesting. Alabama, Vanderbilt's going to be interesting. Oh, we got Miami and Florida State next week. Oh, that game could have been so big if Florida State didn't lose this week. I mean, that game still is really big, but if Florida State didn't lose last night, that would have been probably a top 6, top 7 matchup. Obviously, Miami didn't play today, so they're still undefeated. But Florida State upset by Virginia last night, losing in overtime. Oregon's offense, they show this stat right now. 6 different players have run the ball. 7 different players have caught a pass. Doing a great job spreading around the football. And Drew Allar has 45 passing yards, the second fewest passing yards in a first half when he's been the starter. But Penn State will get the ball to start the second half. And Oregon, they kick this off. And we'll go through the end zone for a touchback. And Drew Allar and the Penn State offense take over at their own 25-yard line. So it is a 1st and 10 for Penn State on their own 25. Game tied at 3. Allar with the back to his left. And it's a swing pass here to Katron Allen. And Allen gets a block on the outside, jukes inside, and gains 6. Definitely don't mind that for Penn State. An extension of the run game right there. They're having trouble running the football. A good pickup of 6 to start the drive. Yeah, still tied, but really low scoring so far. So here is a 2nd and 4. Allar is going to hand this off to Pena on the jet sweep, and he's taken down for getting about 3. So 3rd and 1 for Penn State. Penn State is 3 of 8 on 3rd down, averaging 8.1 yards to go. This one a 3rd and short. Allar goes under center, hands off to Allen, and he got hit at the line. I think he's able to fall forward for a 1st down. Yeah, he will have the 1st down, but not by much. Oregon has a linebacker meet him in the gap. He's just able to run him over. They're actually going to take a look at that previous play. The ruling on the field was he got it. But they're going to review it. You have to get to the 35-yard line. Let's see, he's contacted at the 33. That doesn't matter. Can't tell where the ball is there. I think he's got it, but... And again, you can't see the ball. Like, it's tough to see at what point he goes down. Like, I think he's still on his feet until his arm hits the ground, which would be carrying the ball, which is across the 35. But if his knee's down before, obviously he'll be short, but this is... We're done reviewing it already. And the ruling in the field does stand. It's 1st down, Penn State. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Allar with time. Allar over the middle, that is caught for a 1st down. To the 49-yard line of Oregon. Finds Dinkins, and a nice throw and catch. There for Penn State. It's a nice play for Penn State. They give Allar time, makes an accurate throw. So here is a 1st and 10. From the Oregon 49, bring a receiver across the formation. and hand this to Katron Allen to the right side. And Allen is going to fall forward for a gain of about 3. Getting it to the 46. Penn State gets to the line quickly. Empty backfield for Drew Auer. And Auer steps up. Auer is going to run it here. Makes a move and has a first down. Gains 7 as he dives ahead. And again, Penn State can go with some tempo. Wow, really wide lineman splits right there. I thought I saw that the first time when watching it live. Yeah, that was insanely wide. Oh, Penn State actually slows the pace down. They'll huddle up here. Looked like they wanted to get on the ball fast. So from the 37-yard line, Auer off play action, rolls to his right, and Auer is pressured and taken down for a loss. A loss of 2 on the play. The second sack of the day for the Oregon defense. It's going to be second and about 12. Looks like Auer might have been able to throw that. He had a tight end underneath who didn't have a ton of separation, but if he throws it out in front, should be alright, but he decides to just take the loss. With 2nd and 2, they'll toss it to Singleton to the left side, breaks a tackle, and is then tripped up after a gain of about 4. Oh wait, the ball came out at the end. Oregon comes up with it, they're going to rule Singleton down first. Oh yeah, it only comes out when he hits the ground. So good call by the officials right there. Singleton definitely down. So 3rd and 9 for Penn State. They're 4 of 9 on the day on 3rd down. Auer in shotgun, Singleton to his left. Play clock is at 3. And they'll get the snap off. Auer quarterback run, no gain. Taken down at the line of scrimmage. Interesting call right there on 3rd and 9. Auer faked the pitch to Singleton, who was lined up to his left. And he tried to run it himself. I don't love that call. Unless you knew you were going to go for it on 4th down, but I feel like you'd only try to run the ball right there if it was like 3rd and 4, not 3rd and 9. Because now that makes this 4th and 9, and now Penn State's going to punt from the Oregon 37. So the punt is away, and it is a touchback. Penn State had a guy down there, just couldn't quite down it. And Penn State, they control the ball a little bit, but end up punting, and Oregon takes over with 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. But that drive for Penn State wasn't terrible. Obviously, if you're Penn State, you would have wished to get points. But 39 yards, 5:45 off the clock, that is their best drive of the day. By a lot. Not by a lot, actually. But it is their best drive of the day in both yards and time possession. It beats their field goal drive before by 7 yards and about 55 seconds, roughly. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Oregon gets the football for their first possession in the second half. And, the game obviously still tied at 3. If you guys can do me a favor and hit that like button, that would be much appreciated. We've still got just 3 likes on the stream, so be sure to smash that like button. Alabama and Georgia still at the half. 24-14, Alabama leads. Iowa State leads Arizona 36-14. Missouri leads UMass 28-6. And BYU Colorado kick off in about 30 minutes. But we wait for them to come back from commercial break. Oregon gets the football on their own 20-yard line. Actually, apparently I got set really far behind because it says they've run a first down play already. So somehow this froze and sent me back. So I'll refresh this, so give me 1 second. Sorry about that. The first down play. Yeah, first down was a 7-yard catch for Jaden Lamar. Here's a 2nd and 3 on their own 27. And we got flags flying here. False start against Oregon. Gonna back them up 5. So the false start backs Oregon up 5. Yeah, it was a slight flinch by the tight end Sadiq, number 18. So 2nd and 8 after the false start. Moore turns around, hands off to Jaden Lamar up the middle. And Lamar is going to have a pretty good run, about 5 yards. He fights his way ahead. Oregon, they haven't ran the ball super effectively, but they've been solid. Been a lot better than what Penn State has done on the ground. Dante Moore on 3rd down. He's 3 of 4 for 17 yards. It's thrown for just 1 first down. This is a 3rd and 3 for Oregon. Moore in shotgun back to his right. Moore looks to throw. Moore gets pressured, rolling to his right. Moore on the run, throws downfield. That is caught by a receiver wide open. That is Sadiq, the tight end, and a big play for the Oregon offense on 3rd down. This is a great play by Dante Moore to buy enough time and then find Sadiq wide open in the middle of the field. It's a dangerous throw throwing back across the field, but he's wide open. Danny Dennis shot down on the field for Penn State. Hopefully he's okay. That could be a big loss for Penn State if he's hurt. So hopefully he's okay. That was a 23-yard play to Sadiq, who's got 4 catches for 40 yards. But obviously, hopefully Danny Dennis Sutton's okay. The best players in this Penn State defense. No changes in the other scores. Iowa State, Arizona still 36-14 Iowa State. Missouri's up 22 on UMass. Alabama, Georgia still at the half. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Obviously, hopefully, Dennis Sutton's okay. And go back to the previous play. Danny Dennis Sutton thought he got held. I don't ever see where he could have gotten hurt. But a first down here for Oregon. Ball at midfield. After a big pass play on third down. Moore hands off. Jaden Lamar up the middle. And he runs a guy over. Gains about 3. Danny Dennis Sutton back on the field for Penn State. It's good to see. Glad to see he's okay. So Oregon with the football on their own, the Penn State 47. Moore hands off to, I believe this is Hill, and he's got a lot of space, still on his feet, breaking a tackle down to the 20-yard line or somewhere around there. A big run there for Hill. Number 23 for the Oregon offense, one of the 4 running backs they've used consistently in this game. A great run there, ball officially spotted at the 23. They go back to him here on first down, and Hill dances his way downfield for about 6 yards. Back-to-back nice runs. So 2nd and 4. They gave Hill 6 on first down. We got a different running back in the game here. I don't know who this is. Maybe this is Johnson? Number 0? I can't see his number, though. From the 18, they toss it to him. This is Johnson. And he just ran somebody over. Not afraid of the contact right there, although he's only going to gain 2. No, not Johnson. It's Davis. Where did I get Johnson from? But it's Davison. Who's number 0? No, Whittington is the back in the game here. He splits out wide as a receiver on third down. It's 3rd and 3. From the 16. Moore. Quick throw. Call for a first down. There's Sadiq again. His 5th catch. A big third down conversion. His 2nd catch on third down this drive. Nice throw and catch. First down for Oregon. First time they've gotten into the red zone today. And they don't have a 1st and goal. Obviously, they were in the red zone before, but just pointed that out. It's a 1st and goal. Ball on the Penn State 9. Moore with the back to his right. Going to hand it off to Whittington. And Whittington keeps his balance. Oh, he lost the ball! Whittington loses it, scooped up by Penn State. And they have it going the other way. Dante Moore will eventually push him out of bounds at midfield. But a huge fumble right there for Oregon. Wow. From 1st and goal to Penn State taking over near midfield. Wow. Whittington was able to keep his balance. That ended up being a bad thing for Oregon, as the Penn State defense forces the first turnover of the game. Wow, that's a big one right there. Right when it looked like somebody was finally going to get a touchdown. Yeah, exactly. It definitely looks like a good drive for Oregon, too. From deep inside their own territory to inside the red zone. And that could be a big turnover. But that is a huge play in this game. Was fumbled at about the 9-yard line. Got returned to the somewhere around midfield, actually. None of these things have updated on where the ball is officially spotted, so I don't know exactly where the ball is, but somewhere around midfield. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. And that was a pretty good drive for Oregon as well. So that is a huge turnover. I mean, you got the ball inside the red zone, 1st and goal from the 9. And then they fumble. Oh, wow, the knee was down. They review the turnover. The knee was down at the 8-yard line. Let's see, his knee's still up right there. Oh, wow. Looks like it just barely scrapes the grass. Wow, that's a huge call right there. Penn State does not have the ball. Oregon has it. Wow. That is so close, but I do think it's the right call. Looks like he just barely scrapes the grass. That is huge. Oregon keeps possession. They still got 2nd and goal. So it's 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. A 9-play, 72-yard drive so far for the Ducks. 5:45 off the clock. There's a screen pass. And get some blockers downfield. And Hill is in for a touchdown. Finally a touchdown in this game. And Oregon takes their first lead of the day. The screen pass to Hill. And Oregon finally with the touchdown. The game's first touchdown. It is now 9-3. What a drive there for Oregon. A 10-play drive. Take about 6 minutes off the clock. What a drive right there. Best drive of the day for either team by far. And the extra point is right down the middle. Ends up being a 10-play, 80-yard drive. Takes 5:55 off the clock. Ending in an 8-yard touchdown pass from Dante Moore to De'Aaron Hill Jr. for an 8-yard touchdown. But that review was huge with how he was technically down. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Finally a touchdown in this game. Alabama, Georgia still a 10-point game. 24-14, Alabama leads. 5 minutes into the second half. Missouri still up 26-8 on UMass. Game's actually kind of close. Or closer than I expected. I thought that game would be like a 50-point blowout for Missouri. I'm not saying they're bad, but I just thought they'd be up by a lot more. And Iowa State still leads Arizona by a score of 36-14. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. Let's see how Penn State responds. So Penn State, they trail for the first time today. It's now 10-3 Oregon, and let's see what the Penn State offense can do. So far, they have not done much. Well, they were decent on their first drive of the second half. But they were just on the sideline for a while, so we'll have to see what they can do here. Kick is a touchback, will come out to the 25. Penn State, in their last two possessions, they've got 9 plays, 39 yards, 9 plays, 24 yards, although both resulted in punts. So they start on their own 25, and Auer with a quick throw is high off the hands of his receiver and incomplete. Devontae Ross, the intended target. A little bit of a high throw, but should definitely be caught. Or sorry, that was Hudson the target. Ross is number 5. Getting these Penn State receivers confused. So from the 25, Auer swing pass to Nick Singleton. And Singleton is taken down at the line of scrimmage, maybe got a yard. But another great play for the Oregon defense. So here is a 3rd and 9 for Penn State. On their own 26. Auer looks to throw, pressured. Auer throws, almost intercepted. Was just trying to check it down to Singleton, but he threw it behind him and was nearly picked off. But that was just an awful drive right there for Penn State. It starts with an Auer bad miss on first down. Or not bad miss, but just a not great throw on first down. And the second down play just never went anywhere. And then third down was just not good from Auer as well. I mean, he was pressured, but almost threw a pick. So Penn State punts it away after a quick 3-and-out. And Oregon calls fair catch at the 25-yard line. And that is where they will take over. They lead this one 10-3. Fans are booing. I mean, I don't blame them. Penn State's offense looks awful right now. Like, I didn't think Penn State would come out and score 50 points, but I did expect them to look a little bit better than they do right now. Because they look terrible. I mean, this Oregon defense is really good, but Penn State's offense looked awful. They haven't really helped themselves either. So a 1st and 10 from the 25. Here goes a handoff to... I get all these running backs confused. Oh, that's Hill. 23, he's got a lot of space, though. And a good run right there. But 11 yards there on first down. And here's another first down for Oregon. They go back to the ground with Hill, and again he's got space. A gain of 9 before he's tripped up. Back-to-back really nice runs. So 2nd and short. They go back to the ground with Hill for the 3rd straight play. This time not as much, but got 3 and another first down for the Ducks. So 1st and 10 here from the 48-yard line. Dante Moore in shotgun. And Moore looked to throw. Set up the screen for Sadiq, who slips, regains his balance, and is taken down after a gain of 2. And that play not too effective. Brings up 2nd and roughly 8. "45 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Oregon does have to run a play before the quarter ends, but it could be the final play right here. Of the 3rd quarter, that is. Moore looks to throw. Might be a hold. Moore going to step up and run. And he'll swat after a gain of 5. No flag down, by the way. Looked like the left tackle might have held somebody, but I couldn't tell. But that was the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we head to the 4th quarter in a low-scoring game. Oregon up 10-3. But a pretty good 3rd quarter there for Oregon. Don't allow a point. Offense gets the first touchdown of the game. And they're up 10-3 headed to the 4th. And this drive for Oregon has also gotten off to a pretty good start. 5 plays, 29 yards. Alabama, Georgia still 24-14, although Georgia in the red zone. On the Alabama 5-yard line. They got 1st and goal. .704 to go in the 3rd quarter of that game. We are really far ahead, even though this game started at the exact same time. We're pretty close, too. But a minute, I guess that's what happens when you just see teams punt the ball back and forth. UMass scored again, or Sorry, Missouri scored again. They're now 35-6 on UMass. Iowa State still leads Arizona 36-14. But Penn State's offense is just 109 total yards entering the fourth quarter and haven't even made it to the red zone. They have just 47 yards on the ground, 62 through the air. They're averaging 2.5 yards per rush attempt, 3.9 yards per pass attempt, and their offense has been terrible. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial break, entering the fourth quarter. Hold on 1 second. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. Why does it sometimes seem like these commercials are 10 years long? Alright, now they're back from commercial as we enter the final quarter. Oregon up by 7. They lead this one 10-3. So 3rd and 4. Oregon 2 of 2 on 3rd down this half. It's a 3rd down and 4 from the Penn State 46. Moore gonna look to throw. Moore has time. Now rolls to his right, and Dante Moore throws one downfield. That's called for a first down. Moore finds Moore once again, down to the 20-yard line. A nice throw for Dante Moore. Dacquari Moore with the catch. That's a really nice throw. Now they'll go to the ground here with Jaden Lamar. And Lamar up the middle for 3 yards. So 2nd and 7. Again, inside the red zone on the 15. Moore in shotgun. Got it back to his left and to his right. And they're going to hand it off to Hill to the left side. Going to try to turn the corner, but he can't do so. And he's taken down for a loss of 2. Zion Tracy with the tackle for loss. So 3rd and 10 from the 17. Moore looks to throw. Pressure. Dante Moore makes a man miss. Now he's going to try to run. And Moore is going to half slide, half dive. They're going to rule him, looks like a little short. I don't know if they're going to count that as a slide or a dive. I really have no idea what that is. But they did mark him short. It's 4th and 1. But Oregon going to go for it on 4th down once again. 4th and short. More under center, and Dan Lanning calls timeout. Oregon is 3 of 4 on 4th down tonight. This could be a big play right here. I mean, this is an interesting decision for Dan Lanning. Because it's 4th down. It's 4th and 1, so I definitely understand going for it. But at the same time, taking an easy field goal, and you can go up by 2 scores. You'd go for it. Yeah, I understand going for it, and knowing Dan Lanning, he probably will, but I understand the field goal too, because it puts you up by 10. Then you're needing Penn State's offense to score twice. But, I mean, even if you don't get it, you're still giving Penn State the ball deep inside their own territory. I don't know. I like going for it. I think I take the points right here. Go up by 10. Make it a 2-score game. I think that's what I do, but I mean, you could also say, why not get aggressive? Penn State's offense isn't doing anything anyway. You could say that, too. Alabama and Georgia, now 24-21. Georgia scored a touchdown. 6:30 to go in the third quarter right there. But it's a 10-3 game. Big decision right here for Dan Lanning. They're 3 of 4 on 4th down. Trying to, or could potentially make it a 5th 4th down attempt. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. A big play right here on 4th down. I mean, even if they don't decide to go for it, it's still a big field goal right here because it makes it a 2-score game. But let's see what the decision is for Dan Lanning. He's going to send the offense out there on 4th and short. Oregon has already attempted 4 4th downs today, which ties the most attempts under Dan Lanning. This will be their 5th 4th down attempt. Ball on the 8-yard line. More under center. And he's going to hand it off straight ahead to Davison, who's got a 1st down. He's got a touchdown. And Oregon, with the aggressive decision, it pays off, and Oregon goes up about to be 17-3. An 8-yard touchdown for Jordan Davison. Caps off a 10-play, 75-yard drive, takes 5 minutes off the clock. Another great drive for Oregon, back-to-back really good ones. And here is the extra point for Oregon. And it is right down the middle. 17-3. Oregon leads. Back-to-back really good drives. And I mean, I know there's still plenty of time left. And we're still pretty early into the 4th quarter. But that might do it. Because with how Penn State has moving the ball, I doubt they even score at all. But I mean, 17-3. Penn State, they've got just 109 total yards. Now they need 2 touchdowns just to tie. Seems really unlikely. Well, that's the game. I'd probably agree. I mean, there's still definitely a chance for Penn State, but just not a very good one. Especially with how they've been playing. So Penn State will get the ball back, down 14 now. So the kick is another touchback, and Penn State starts at 25. Maybe they can do something this drive. They're saying right now their longest play from scrimmage today is 16 yards for Penn State. But a 1st and 10 here from the 25. Auer fakes the toss left, now throws over the middle. That is caught for a gain of 9. Catch made by number 85. It's one of the tight ends for Penn State. Not sure who it is, but. It's 2nd and 1. After 9 yards on 1st down. Auer in shotgun. Katron Allen in the back wanted behind him. For a receiver in motion, it's Devontae Ross. And now they'll hand off to Katron. Allen's got a lot of space to the left side. Allen cuts inside, almost broke free, as it is a great run for Katron Allen to the 47-yard line of Oregon. Best play of the day for the Penn State offense by far. He almost broke free right there. If he was able to break that last tackle, he might have a touchdown. But a great run right there for Allen. And now Auer to throw right here. And underneath, he'll find Pena. And he's going to make a man miss. Have a 1st down. He's knocked it to bounds after a gain of 11. But maybe that run from Katron Allen can really jumpstart this Penn State offense. Because they need something. So a 1st and 10. First and 10 from the 35. Auer off play action. Has time. Takes a shot downfield. Into the end zone. Call for a touchdown. Devontae Ross with the catch. Great throw for Drew Auer, and Penn State is right back in this game. A 35-yard touchdown for Devontae Ross. Boy, do they need that. That was a huge touchdown there for Penn State. Really nice throw by Drew Auer. Like the only good throw he's made all game. But a really, really good drive. And here's Barker to add the extra point. And it is good. So 17-10. Oregon leads Penn State. This game's not over yet. Now, if you're Penn State, you just wonder where that offense was the entire game. Because they went 75 yards on 4 plays, just a minute 55. Yet before that drive, they had just like 105 yards all game. Sorry, they actually had like 114. Or 116, something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, Penn State, they just scored in 4 plays. Now 17-10. It's a 35-yard touchdown from Drew Allar to Devontae Ross. We've got 10.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Alabama, Georgia, still a 3-point game. Alabama up by 3 with 2:52 to go in the third quarter. And BYU, Colorado just kicked off. Missouri leads UMass 42-6. And Iowa State leading Arizona 36-14. But Oregon gets the ball back, and their offense, they've been looking really good over the past couple drives. Back-to-back touchdown drives for the Ducks, and now if you're Penn State, you need your defense to step up. Because the defense had been playing really well. But the defense allowed back-to-back touchdown drives of 75 yards and 80 yards. And Penn State now needs their defense to come up with the stop. But Oregon's offense, their last 2 drives, they've combined to go 20 plays for 155 yards in about 10 minutes. But we wait for them to come back from commercial. A 7-point game. So now they're back from commercial, 17-10. Oregon leads with 10.5 minutes to go. So the kick is touchback, and Oregon takes over at the 25. Drew Allar on that last drive had 56 yards and was a perfect 3 of 3. He had just like 65 yards in the entire game before that. So 1st and 10 from the 25. Dante Moore rolls to his right, and Moore's going to run it. And he'll have 5. Lost the ball as he goes sliding out of bounds. Dante Moore took a couple guys on the sideline. So 2nd and 6 after 4 yards from Moore on the scramble. We'll turn around and hand off to Jaden Lamar, who lowers the shoulder for a gain of 3. So it makes it 3rd and about 3. And this is a big play right here. 3rd and 3. Oregon, they've been great on 3rd down in the second half. But if you're Penn State and you can get a stop, you really change the momentum of this game. This is a 3rd and 3. Moore in shotgun back to his left. Dante Moore looks to throw. Quick throw that is Call for a first down. Finds number 2, Bryant, for the catch. And Gary Bryant moves the sticks. And a nice completion there for Oregon to move the chains. So from their own 35, Moore in shotgun, Lamar to his left. Dante Moore, another quick throw. Another catch by Gary Bryant for a gain of 5. Wow, that was actually a really dangerous throw, because if Moore doesn't catch, or Bryant doesn't catch that, that's potentially intercepted. That was a big time catch right there. So 2nd and 6, empty backfield from Moore, who'll look to throw. Dante Moore, incomplete. We got a flag on the field here. If it stands, it'll be 3rd and 6. After the play, we actually got unsportsmanlike conduct against Oregon. Against number 71, that's their right tackle. So that's a big penalty. Backs them up to a 3rd and 21. Penn State playing very soft. And Oregon just going to set up a screen here. And get a couple blocks, but nowhere near the first down. Bryant with another catch, his 3rd of the drive. But a big stop here for Penn State. They're going to get the ball back to the offense with 7:35 to go. So half the 4th quarter. A 7-point game. The first Oregon punt of the 2nd half. And the punt is away, headed towards the sideline. And that is not a good punt. They're going to spot it at the 33-yard line. That was a terrible punt. Now Penn State can get the ball back at their own 33 with 7:07 to go. They are not out of this at all. Especially their offense just put together a good drive. Maybe they can make it back-to-back, although that might be a lot to ask. It was a 35-yard punt. Not a very good one. Alabama and Georgia is still a 3-point game headed to the 4th quarter. Alabama up by 3, 24-21. Colorado has taken the lead on BYU with 7-0. Iowa State and Arizona, same score, 36-14. Missouri still leads UMass 42-6. And then obviously this game, 17-10, 7:07 to go. But let's see what the Penn State offense can do. They just scored a touchdown in their last drive. But we still wait for them to come back from commercial. 7:07 to go in the fourth quarter. Penn State getting the ball back, down by 7. We still wait for them to come back from commercial. Alright, now they're back. Drew Allar on that last drive was pretty good. 3 of 3, 70 or 65 yards, I think. No, maybe 56 yards. I think it was 56. Yeah, 3 of 3, 56 yards. When before that, in the game, he was just 8 of 16 for 62 yards. Allar to throw right here. And Allar behind his receiver and incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10. We got 7:03 to go. A 7-point Oregon lead. So we got Allar in the pistol, Singleton behind him. Pena goes in motion. And they're going to hand it to Singleton, who's going nowhere, taken down at the line. Brings up 3rd and 10. We got 6:52 to go. We got an injured Oregon defender down the field. Hopefully he's okay. But they'll go to commercial for the injury. 6:52 to go in the fourth quarter. 7-point Oregon lead. Hopefully whoever the injured player is okay. Georgia now with the ball inside the red zone. Got a 3rd and 3 at the Alabama 10-yard line for Georgia. They're still down by 3. Gunnar Stockton ran it on the play, got 2. So 4th and 1 for Georgia, and you got to imagine they'll just tie the game with a field goal. No, they went for it on 4th down. Georgia went for it on 4th down and didn't get it. 3rd and 9 right here. They cut back to that and snap the ball so quickly. Allar going to run it, though, on 3rd down. He's got a 1st down. A great run there for Drew Allar. And a 1st down. But Georgia, they turned it over on downs, by the way. I was not expecting them to come back and go right to the play. But Penn State gets the line quick here on the Oregon 41. 6:20 to go. Allar looks to throw. Allar pressured. Throws back shoulder. Did he keep the feet in? Let's see. No. Oh, I don't know. His foot might have been in bounds. Let's see. Did he catch this ball cleanly? Oh, I think it's on the ground. Yeah, it did hit the ground. So 2nd and 10. So 2nd and 10 from the 41. Auer steps up. Auer going to try to run it again. And this time Drew Auer is hit hard after a gain of 7. So it's a 3rd and 2 here for Penn State. Somebody call a timeout. I'm not sure who. Uh, to reset the clock. Put a few seconds back on. 6:09 to go. So 3rd and 2, 6:09 to go. Penn State 2 of 4 on 3rd down here in the second half. This is a 3rd and 2. Big play right here. Could be 4-down territory. Probably is. Auer in shotgun. Hands off to Singleton. And he's short. Got a yard. Needed 2. And it's 4th and 1 here for Penn State. I think you've got to go for it. I don't really think there's much of a decision. So 4th and 1, Penn State will keep the offense out there and go for it. Looks like they got 3 tight ends in the game. Auer goes under center, hands off to Singleton, and he got stuffed. Second effort might have gotten it, but he got stuffed initially. Looks like they will give him the first down on the second effort. Wow. Initially, Singleton had nowhere to go. But the second effort will move the sticks. So they do give Penn State the first down. Ball on the 30-yard line. Auer looks to throw. Has time. Auer now starts to run around the pocket. And will scramble for about 3 yards. So it's 2nd and 7. Drew Auer today, 11 of 21 for 118 yards and a touchdown. And they're going to split him out wide as the receiver here, go with the Wildcat. Katron Allen to take the direct snap. And everybody moved except the center. So we got a false start against Penn State. So 2nd and 12 after the penalty. Auer in the pistol. Allen is the back behind him. And here's the handoff to Katron Allen. And he'll get about 5 yards, maybe 6. So 3rd and 7. You got 3:21 to go. Penn State has all 3 timeouts. Oregon has 2. From the 27, Auer in shotgun, Singleton to his right. They're going to toss it to Singleton right side. And Singleton is going to pick up 5. It's going to be 4th and 2. And again, I go for it. A field goal is not going to do you too much. Because it's not like a field goal here makes a field goal game. You still need a touchdown at some point. So here is a 4th and 1. And Penn State's going to call a timeout. So Penn State does call a timeout right here before this 4th and 1. This is a huge play right here. You got 2:43 to go. Now after this timeout, we've each team with 2 timeouts remaining. So it's a 4th and 1 for Penn State. Down by 7 with 2:43 to go. A huge play right here. Yeah, they definitely need this one. But it's 4th and 1 here for Penn State. $2:43 to go. Ball on the Oregon 21. You got 2 tight ends in the game. Auer in shotgun, Singleton to his left. They bring a receiver in motion, and Auer's going to keep this in the option, and he's got a first down. Auer gains 2, moves the sticks to the 19-yard line, gets it inside the red zone, and Penn State with a big 4th down conversion. Auer 33 yards on 4 carries on this drive. Now Penn State, they don't have to snap it again before the 2-minute warning. 5 seconds. Let's see if they snap it. They will. Auer going to find Allen in the flat, and Katron Allen makes a man miss, and he'll gain about 4 yards. Actually, the extra push from the offensive line going to give him about 6. Actually, he keeps going. No, they ruled forward progress. Yeah, about 6 yards. There for Katron Allen. Minute 47 to go. And this is the 2-minute warning. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Penn State down by 7, but putting together another good drive. This drive for Penn State has been 12 plays at 50 yards. They've taken 5 minutes, 20 seconds off the clock. You think they'll score? Yeah, I would probably think they would as well. I mean, they've just moved the ball very consistently on this drive. A couple of big 4th down conversions. But you have to ask the question, where was this offense? Yeah, exactly. I mean, they suddenly woke up in the 4th quarter. In the 4th quarter, Penn State with 125 yards and 16 plays. But they were awful in the first 3 quarters with roughly 100 total yards. Yeah, if Penn State's offense looked like this the entire game, they'd probably win. They definitely wouldn't be down 17-10 right now. But we got a minute 47 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Penn State a 2nd and 3 on the Oregon 12-yard line. And an update on Alabama and Georgia. Alabama still up by 3, 24-21 with 8:10 to go. this is a huge couple plays upcoming here for Penn State. Obviously, a touchdown ties, and then you have the conversation if you go for two. I wouldn't because obviously you got college overtime rules. So I wouldn't go for two. That's just me. I also don't really think James Franklin's the type of coach to go for two. He's definitely the type of guy to play for overtime. Now, Dan Lanning, on the other hand, he'd probably go for two. But 17-10, minute 47 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Penn State with a 2nd and 3. They get a 2nd and 3 on the Oregon 12-yard line. So Auer in shotgun back to his left. Now we're going to shift to an under center look. We're going to bring a tight end across the formation. And Auer hands off to Katron Allen up the middle. And he'll fight his way forward for about 3, close to a first down. Looks like the spot comes in half a yard short. So it's 3rd and 1 here for Penn State. Clock is running, minute 25 to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Third and short here for Penn State. Auer under center. Allen is the back. They try to draw him off sides with a hard count. And Auer going to hand off. Allen up the middle for a first down. Penn State moves the sticks, a gain of 2. And the clock temporarily stops with 58 seconds to go. A 14-play, 55-yard drive for Penn State that has taken 6:20 off the clock. The clock continues to run. 40 seconds to go. 2 timeouts for each team. They fake the toss to Singleton, now hand it off to Ross, and he's in for a touchdown. The flip forward to Devontae Ross, his 2nd touchdown of the quarter. And a huge touchdown for Penn State. And now let's see what the decision is for James Franklin. It's 17-16. Do you go for 2, or do you just kick the extra point? Let's see. I kick it in this situation because they're playing with college overtime rules. Obviously, because it's college. But Penn State, from down 17-3 to pretty much tying the game, they will kick the extra point. Barker for the tie. It's right down the middle. 17-17. 14 straight points for Penn State. What a play right here for Penn State. They line Auer up under center with nobody in the backfield, and then they motion Singleton and fake the pitch to him, and then shovel pass it forward to Devontae Ross. That was a great play right there for Penn State. But Oregon, they get the ball back, 30 seconds left, 2 timeouts. I mean, there's definitely a chance they try to get into field goal range right here. But 17-17, 30 seconds to go. Devontae Ross, 4 catches, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. And technically that is a pass because it's a shovel pass forward. So 30 seconds to go. Let's see how aggressive Oregon gets on this drive. So The kick is going to be fair caught at the 2-yard line, so it'll come out to the 25. So 30 seconds, 2 timeouts for each team. Let's check the career long for the Oregon kicker. Let's see how aggressive Oregon wants to get. The career long for Atticus Sappington is 48 yards, so they're going to have to go quite a bit. They're going to start off with a screen to Moore, and he gets a block, but only going to gain about 3. Now Oregon gets to the line quick. 15 seconds left. Dante Moore has time. Throws downfield that is almost caught off the hands of Sadiq and incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 7. That was a risky throw with multiple defenders in the area, and now Sadiq looks like he's hurt over on the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. Man, that would have been a great catch. Yes, Sadiq is limping over on the sideline. Hopefully he's okay. But it's 3rd and 7 right here. I think I just hand this off and play for overtime. That is exactly what they'll do. They give it to Lamar, who gets stuffed at the line. So now 4 seconds left. Penn State calls timeout. So Penn State, they call timeout, stopping the clock with 4 seconds left. If I'm Penn State, I send everybody at this punt. But if you're Oregon, just run around for 4 seconds and just go down, because there's not going to be any time left. Or they're actually going to keep the offense out there. And they're probably just going to tell Dante Moore to wait a few seconds and then throw it as high and as far as he can. You do have to make sure you can get this to take 4 seconds, though. So 4th and 7, 4 seconds left. Moore backpedals, launches it high, clocks at zeros, and we'll head to overtime. So we head to overtime with the game tied at 17. Penn State trailed 17-3, scored 14 straight points. And we're now tied and headed to overtime. I'm trying to think. I think this is the first college football overtime game I've ever streamed. I've streamed some NFL games that have gone to overtime, but I don't think I've ever streamed a college overtime game. But we enter overtime, tied at 17. And let's see who gets the ball first. And obviously you want defense first. Alabama and Georgia still a 3-point Alabama lead. And Georgia just punted it back with 3:19 to go. It was 4th and 13, so they kind of had to. So we head to overtime, tied at 17. James Franklin is 4-4 in overtime as a head coach. Has Dan Lanning ever been to overtime? No, he hasn't. It's his first overtime game as a head coach. That's interesting. So the game tied at 17. So the overtime rules, obviously you flip a coin for possession. You get to pick if you want offense or defense. And so you get a possession from the 25. And then if it's still tied after the first overtime, you get a second possession, but you have to go for 2 if you score a touchdown. And then it's alternating 2-point conversions. If at the third overtime. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Alright. Here we go, the toss. So Oregon wins the toss. And they elect to play defense first, obviously. So Penn State's going to get the ball first. Oregon will send their defense out. That way, if they get a stop, they know what the offense has to do. Or either way, you know what the offense has to do. If you need a touchdown, you need a touchdown. If you need to kick a field goal, kick a field goal. So 1st and 10 for Penn State. Ball on the 25. So empty backfield for Drew Aller. Now they're going to flip this forward to Katron Allen on the jet sweep. And Allen, getting to the right sideline, has about 5 yards. Down to the 20. Brings up 2nd and 5 for Penn State. So 2nd and 5 for Penn State. Aller in shotgun, back to his left. That's Nick Singleton. And they're going to hand this off to Pena on the jet sweep. Pena cuts inside, has a first down and a lot more down the 5-yard line. And that sets Penn State up 1st and goal. We've seen Penn State run this play quite a few times today. It's an option between Aller and the receiver Pena. Or they don't always run it with him. But it's the same concept they've run quite a few times today. This time he hands it off, and Pena with a good run. Got about 15 yards. And it's 1st and goal. So 1st and goal from the 5. Or from the 4, actually. Aller under center. Allen is the back. They're going to hand it off. Katron Allen, right side. He powers his way in for a Penn State touchdown. So Penn State scores a touchdown. Katron Allen with a 4-yard touchdown run. And I would assume they'll just kick the extra point, because otherwise if you don't get it, then all you need to do is have Oregon score a touchdown and kick the extra point. So yeah, the extra point Here for Penn State, Ryan Barker is good. So 24-17. Oregon gets the ball and needs a touchdown. So 24-17. Oregon needs a touchdown and an extra point to extend the game. By the way, Kenyon Sadiq is on the field for Oregon after he got hurt on that final drive of regulation. So a 1st and 10 from the 25. Moore, hands off, Hill left side. And Hill breaks a tackle, gains 3. Gonna make it 2nd and 7. So 2nd and 7 for Oregon. Empty backfield for Dante Moore. Ball on the 22. Moore. Pump fakes. Now throws. Caught for a 1st down. There's Bryant again. It looked like they were trying to set up the screen, but Moore didn't like the look. So he's able to find Gary Bryant for a 1st down. I mean, I actually don't know if that was a design screen or if that was a fake. I thought that was a design screen. Either way, it's a 1st down here for Oregon. Ball on the 14-yard line. Moore in the pistol. Lamar is the back behind him. Here goes the handoff. Oh, he lost the ball! Dante Moore is able to dive on it, but that was not a clean exchange between Moore and Lamar. Wow, that could have been terrible. It hit Lamar in the elbow as he went to go grab it. But Dante Moore was able to fall on it. That could have been terrible. Could have been ended the game if Penn State recovered. So 2nd and 13. Moore design quarterback run, straight ahead, and took a big hit there. Gain 6. So 3rd and 8 here for Oregon. Moore in shotgun, Lamar the back line to his right. The 1st down is inside the 4-yard line for Oregon. Moore looks to throw. Moore throws, caught by Lamar, short of a 1st down. It's 4th and 1. Lamar got 7. Now you have to get this. If you're Oregon, obviously. A 1st down extends the game. Anything else, game's over. Penn State wins. And Oregon, they're going to call a timeout right here. Is that targeting? Helmet to helmet hit. I don't know if this is a defenseless player right here, but it's a head-to-head hit. Okay, so he's not a defenseless receiver, so it would have to be with the, or a defenseless player, so it has to be with the crown of the helmet. that's close. I don't think it is, but it's close. Oh, they are reviewing it for targeting. There is no foul for targeting. I do think that is the right call. So 4th and 1 here for Oregon. Gotta have it to extend the game. Oregon is 4 of 6 on 4th down today. Technically 4 of 5 because the one they just launched the ball downfield to end the game. So 4th and 1. Moore in shotgun. Lamar the back to his right. They bring a receiver in motion. Moore, it's a quarterback run. Dante Moore up the middle has a first down. Dante Moore got 3. Great blocking up front. Plenty of space for Dante Moore, who doesn't need much. So 1st and goal here for Oregon, able to extend the game. Extra lineman in the game right now for Oregon. Moore in shotgun. Oh, they shovel passed it forward. I didn't no idea where the ball was, but they shovel passed it forward, and Oregon is in for a touchdown. A lot of misdirection on that play for Oregon, but they're in for the touchdown. And now the question becomes, do you go for 2? They flipped it forward to number 9. I'm not sure who that is. But Oregon, they will kick the extra point to tie it at 24. And the kick is good. 24-24. Oregon leads Penn State, sending to double overtime. Now, how should I put this for overtime? For now, double overtime. Should we go like that? There we go. We'll just do that. So we head to the second overtime. Jamari Johnson was number 9, who caught the shovel pass from Dante Moore. So now Penn State's on defense to start the second overtime. And if you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2 in the second overtime. And they'll also reverse ends in or switch ends of the field. So 24-24. We go to the second overtime. Just going to check the score of Alabama-Georgia. Still a 3-point Alabama lead. And Alabama's got the ball with under 2 minutes left. But Georgia's should be able to get it back if they can get a stop on 3rd and 5. So, game tied at 24. We head to the second overtime. Oregon gets it first. So again, ball on the 25 for Oregon. If we get to a third overtime, then it's alternating 2-point conversions. But they go play action, more pressure, throws downfield, caught wide open. Touchdown, Oregon in one play. Gary Bryant, 25 yards. A quick touchdown for Oregon. But now you have to go for 2 in the second overtime. Dante Moore did a great job making Danny Dennis Sutton miss. And then is able to throw to a wide open Gary Bryant. So now, you got to go for 2. Ball on the 3-yard line. They got the ball in the middle of the field. Not on either hash. Empty backfield for Dante Moore. Moore has plenty of time. Back to the end zone. Oh, it's intercepted! It's picked off by Dennis Sutton. And he's going to try to return this. I don't know what happens if he returns this. But he fumbles the ball. It's scooped up by Penn State. And then they finally go down. No more fumbles at midfield. I have no idea what happens if you return that. I would assume you got 2 points. And then a touchdown would win it, because you technically already have your 2-point conversion. I have no idea what that would mean. But it got picked off by Danny Dennis Sutton, who they dropped into coverage. So now Penn State gets the ball. Need a touchdown to tie. A 2-point conversion will win it. So 1st and 10 from the 25. Auer in shotgun, Singleton to his right. Auer steps up, throws to the side. Oh, it's intercepted! It's picked off and Oregon wins! Auer throws a pick and Oregon ends the game. Final in double overtime, 30-24. Wow. What a game. Oregon wins 30-24 in double overtime. Auer on his first pass to double overtime gets picked off. And Penn State loses another big game. Wow, 30-24, Oregon beats Penn State. Wow. It is Dan Wenning's first win versus an AP Top 5 opponent on the road. And I mean, going to Penn State is never easy. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. There we go. Alright, let's check Alabama, Georgia. That game might be over. It is. Alabama beats Georgia 24-21. And Georgia's 33-game home winning streak has ended. Wow. But 2 lower-ranked teams go on the road and win. Oregon beats Penn State in double overtime. Alabama beats Georgia 24-21. Yeah, it ended up being a really good game. The fourth quarter and overtime was great. The first 3 quarters were kind of terrible. But overall, pretty good game. Alright, they go back to this on the interception. It looks like the linebacker is going to match up with Singleton in man coverage. And Auer tries to throw a back shoulder to his tight end, and he gets picked off. You and your bro were on the edge of your seats. Yeah, I was too. That was a great finish. Bad throw and interception. Yeah, he threw it right to him. But what a finish. Final score 30-24. Oregon wins in the second overtime. Wow. So now today we've seen teams 3, 4, and 5 all lose. And number 8 lost last night. Wow. What a game. 30-24. Oregon wins in double overtime. Penn State still can't get that big win. But great finish. And that is where I'm going to end tonight's stream. I'll be streaming, oh, let's see, next week. Miami, Florida State. I'm not sure on that game yet. That's the night game we have next week. And let's see, I don't think, well, I should say, I'm not saying I don't think I'm going to stream. I really don't know yet. I'm going to think about that. But we have Miami and Florida State at night tomorrow, or next week. Speaking of tomorrow, I will be streaming for Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football for the next 2 days. But I'm not sure in a college stream for next week yet. We'll have to see. And I'll let you guys know as it gets closer. But that is going to do it for today's stream, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this stream, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Hope you guys have had have a great rest of your day or night. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And I will see you in the next video.